Wow, that's good. That's a nice screen. Okay,
I'm gonna just do a quick little introduction. Okay. So I want to thank everybody who's tuning in live. Are you able to get the live from Facebook?
So it takes 10 minutes?
You can, yeah, that's fine. Look at this, it came up.
Oh, the Zoom came on?
Oh my God. Keep doing what you're doing though. Keep doing what you're doing though. But let me see if that is so insane. But let me see if it's gonna work. There's gotta be a reason that it's moving this slow. Yeah, still, it's not doing. We're not gonna rely on it. Let's go. So put the Facebook up there. And then we're gonna do this hood style. I spent all night last night preparing, yeah, see, look at this. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to get him to come and troubleshoot later about why everything is moving so slow, but it took 20 minutes for that page to load. So, anyway, I did this whole, workshop. Is this IG or is this Facebook that you're on? Okay. Yeah, so anyway. Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining us, all, renegade style, that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it renegade style. Hopefully we can get these technical difficulties worked out. Do you mind closing that door? Hopefully we can get these technical difficulties worked out by the next service. I spent all these hours, doing the StreamYard and all that stuff, but whatever. I want to thank you for taking your time on today to join us. My name is Cassandra Faith Floyd. I am also known as the Daughter of the Fates. You are joining us at the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. This is one of our services. We have services every first and third Saturday of the month. We stream live, typically through Zoom and other mediums. And also we have a space at 4433 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles. So again, I want to thank everybody for taking their time to join us. We have a wonderful local healer who has decided to join us today. Has honored me with what she is going to present today. So she's going to do a sound bath this morning, and then after that is done, we will get into the topic of the day, which is sovereignty is the key to creating the future. This is Jensen.
Hey. Hello everyone, my name is Jensen. I am a sound healer, and today's sound bath is about releasing what's burdening in your heart space. We're harnessing the energy of the full moon in Leo, and Leo is all about the heart. We can open our hearts and we can expand, and by releasing anything that no longer serves our heart, we can take a deep breath in and release everything that no longer serves your highest purpose. So take a deep inhale, release, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Take a deep breath, inhale, exhale. Let's begin. space in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the space in you in which love, peace, joy, faith, and of truth. I honor the space in you that is in me. We are one. Namaste. Thank you. Okay. Take it away, sister. Your turn. I'll go with you.
That's great.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
It was crazy to hear the sound.
I want to thank Sister Jensen for the sound bath, for bringing me back into my body. I had, we do it, but I allowed a little technical difficulty to kind of scatter me a little bit, so I really appreciate being present again. I'm going to try to project because I know that it might be a little hard to hear me. Do you two mind drawing that just a little closer? Take both ends of the table and lift it up a little closer. Yeah, get up a little bit.
Okay. Hi.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Thanks,
And then
guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
All right, perfect.
So again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their Saturday that you could have been doing anything and you chose to be here with us. I want to thank the people who are here in the space with me and those that are tuning in from the various spaces that we had to rig to make this thing, be out in the ethos. Those things happen. So today, as was implied by the promotion, I wanted to talk about the question of sovereignty. And I wasn't even present enough in my study to even recognize that this thing that I set forward in the last week perfectly corresponded with this full moon in Leo, who is, the king, the sovereign, right? The royal, the heart, the emperor, okay? And this is important. We are in a period in human history where, and these periods come, so I don't want to make this apocalyptic or anything, but we are in a period in human history where we are literally face to face with our next evolutionary phase. All of us. And in a society that has grown itself really through our misery, through warfare, through, through warfare, that has set as its foundation the suffering of others to embolden itself, to increase its own wealth, to sustain itself, it becomes difficult for the rest of us to be fully present and embodied in the majesty of what is coming, in the beauty and in the beauty of what is coming. It is so easy for us to be subdued by or succumb to the noise of war. The noise of war. It's so easy. Because it's everywhere. It proliferates everything. The media, our music, the politics, daily life is proliferated with the noise of war. And so for those of us, like those sitting in this room with me, for those of us like those who are tuning in live, what is it that we must do to become that sound that can penetrate the noise of war? And so what has happened, and it's been necessary, a lot of us have taken upon ourselves to like do the internal work, right? To be in ceremony, to, whatever ceremony means to you. For me, it's been a lot. It's meant bembeys in the Ifa tradition. It's meant head cleanings. It's meant sleeping in the desert for 6 weeks so I could really be outside the noise. It's been sleeping on the dirt. It's been, taking psychedelics. It's been being invited into Inipi and Temescal with indigenous people. It's been a lot. But there has to come a point where, when we enter into ceremony, we enter into ceremony with the aspirations, the hopes, and the dreams of the whole planet with us. We take that with us. We allow spirit to impact us, not as an individual. The individual work is necessary. Each one of us has a peculiar destiny that is linked with everyone else's destiny. We are not individuals in the world. We are peculiar expressions of the one linked with each other. We are linked. Our destinies are linked, not just in the now. We are linked in the future. We are linked in the past. And so, those of us who have been doing this work, sitting in ceremony, and I don't know about nobody else, the ceremony for me is not always peaceful. It's not always pretty. Because there is a world that we are responsible for creating. And sometimes the urgency is what I experience in ceremony. Oh my God. Sometimes the urgency of what it is that we are called to create is what I take into ceremony. But that urgency is not an urgency of desperation. It is not an urgency of fear. It is not an urgency of uncertainty. I am certain. I am convicted. I am convinced that the entire universe is on our side. I am certain that the entire universe is on our side. The discussion of sovereignty is everything. Because sovereignty is what has been denied us. When I entitled the topic of my discussion with you today, sovereignty is the key to creating the future, it was important because I feel like the question of sovereignty, and when I say that sovereignty is what's been denied us, to be outside of ourselves, right? We talk about sovereignty for the group. We talk about sovereignty for the nation. We talk about sovereignty for our people, right? We talk about freedom, independence, liberation for Africans. We talk about sovereignty, freedom, independence, liberation for the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere. The unshackling of that which has bound us, right? The end to the colonial age. All of these things that we talk about politically. But in these spaces that I have been in, political spaces, Black nationalist spaces, African, indigenous, traditional, religious spaces, in spaces with Mexica, Azteca, Mayan, North American, natives, Hindus, right? Oh my God. The denial of sovereignty is something that happens to the individual. So even as I've been in these spaces where safety was supposed to be a guarantee, a fundamental right to be safe in space. Oh my God. A fundamental right to be safe in space. To be in these spaces and to be denied sovereignty by those who are demanding sovereignty for the group. I hope I'm clear. To be in a space where safety is supposed to be a guarantee without thinking about it, without willing it into the space. To enter into a space assuming that you are safe. And to be denied sovereignty in that space by those who are demanding sovereignty for the group. Baby, this is the work. This is the work. And for women in particular, it is the hard work. Because we have accepted that we are supposed to be quiet. That we are supposed to be small. That we are supposed to be submissive. That we are supposed to be the perfect contortionist, making ourselves smaller in space for protection, to not offend, to make sure that we are safe in space, to fold in on ourselves from day one. This is why the work is difficult. Because in our sickness, and that is what it is, in our collective sickness, what we have done is we have allowed patriarchy to take root and to flourish and to overshadow the aspirations of the whole planet. Women are going to have to assume responsibility for the future. Men are going to have to support, uphold, show up for women emboldened, audacious, creating sovereignty for the whole group. Listen. I don't want to, in this space, I'm debating right now, because sovereignty is the way we know it, the way we come to understand it, is a political question, right? And as the temple of evolutionary emergence, politics, politics has its place in the creation of the future. Science has its place in the creation of the future. Spirit has its place in the creation of the future. Our mind and our flesh has its place in the creation of the future. So what you won't find here in the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence is, I think it's what you won't find here. What you won't find here, and you can take a seat anywhere. Or you can take a seat over there too.
I was just
You're, okay.
a photography. I do a video.
Stay for
But it just looks so.
No, stay.
Go for it. Take a
It's
picture.
over.
Can I take a picture?
Absolutely.
Stay for a few, maybe one.
It's like
Yeah.
they're perfectly balanced.
So what you won't find here is some disconnected sense of spirituality. That's not what we're about. We're about creating the space in the real world to allow for the mother to re-become, to allow for the mother to re-emerge. That is politically, that is spiritually, that is emotionally, that is psychologically, that is in the flesh, that is physically. And baby, look, the work does not have to be hard. The work has already been done. The hard work, the heavy carrying has already been done. The bleeding, the crying, the suffering has already been done. What we have to do is easy. Oh my God. What we are being called to do is easy. We cannot make it hard, man. We can't. You know, I grew up in the church, right? And when I left the church and joined political organization, I was conflicted about why there were certain aspects of the church that I still longed for and couldn't articulate. Because as a political activist, I knew that what I was involved in was right. I knew that the summation was right. That the information that had been kept from me as a black girl, as a black woman, that I was getting in this space was correct. But it was absent something that I longed for. And the only place up until that point that I had received that was in the church. But in the church, there was so much that even at 12 years old, I knew was wrong. I felt in my spirit, in my body, was wrong. But there was something else that was present there that I longed for when I evolved into political consciousness. And when I became a practitioner of E5 answered the longing, right? It answered what it was that was present in the church that I had been longing for as a political activist. But even in the tradition of Ifa, baby, there was a longing that I had. There was a longing that I had that I had experienced in each stage of my life, man. And this is why we're here. This is why I'm here. It became clear that the world does not need any longer a narrative of suffering and hopelessness and uncertainty. That the responsibility of those of us who have made these journeys through our life, who have evolved consciously, doing different types of work to consciously evolve, to consciously be present,
to say, what is it to heed the call? What is it to shape the future? Me first, working on me, dismantling that shit that holds me down, evolving every few years is something radical and new, palpably, evidently new. What does this mean for the rest of those around me? Because our evolution cannot be a singular thing. Our evolution is not a singular thing. When we evolve, baby, we, whether consciously or unconsciously, have an impact on everyone around us. Everyone is impacted by our leaps forward, right? And so when I started meditating on the creation of this project that we're involved in, this project that I have called others to walk with me in, it was about, baby, look, let me tell you something. I was born to 2 Leos. 2 of my 4 grandparents are Leos, right? My daughter is an Aries, my grandson's an Aries, my ex-husband's an Aries. I have an ex-fiance that's so I was like, why am I surrounded by all this fire? I'm an earth sign child, I'm a double earth sign. I'm like, this shit too much. But what it was trying to teach me, this fiery imposition on my life that I was always at odds with, always like bucking against, was to teach me, baby, that you need the courage of the fire of Leo. You need to walk with the loyalty and the confidence of the fire of Leo. You need to walk. Baby, look. There are no accidents. There are no coincidences. You need the majesty and the courage of Leo. You need the audacity that has been denied you, baby. You cannot be submissive. You can't. Not you. Not on the destiny you just chose, Cassandra Faye Floyd, born to Jacqueline Jeanette Cook, born to Stephen Ray Floyd. You need, you have to present in the world with a level of confidence that can instill in others where they can believe that certainty is where the power of the future is. Stepping out into the world, oh my God, certain that we are going to win. Certain that the future that exists in our minds can exist in the fucking world, in the flesh, in the now, in the material world. But we have to be the embodiment of that certainty. We cannot accept, I want y'all to hear me, oh my God, we cannot accept from no space, no tradition, no religion, no culture that anyone on earth from child to elder should accept as a part of their destiny submission, slavery, lower thanness. Oh my God. We cannot. We have to reject it. Either, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Either we believe that we are one or we don't. Either we believe that the earth that we stand on is our mother, a fully aware, sentient being through whom we would not even understand the concept of spirit without her. Do you understand? We are not above her. Our spirit came from her. Just like our spirit came from the she, the entire cosmic universe. And if that is the case, baby, then our flesh is just as important as spirit. And our flesh becomes the conduit. No different. Listen, we love crystals, right? We're sitting here in front of this beautiful display of crystal bowls, right? I'm sitting here with my magic wand. You understand? Here. I'm sitting here in front of my ancestral staff here. And we can recognize that these are conduits through which we can channel our energy, channel our spirit, direct our thoughts, direct our ideas, to make a thought become a thing, to take an abstract concept like spirit and make it a material force that can impact others. We do that. But we still, those of us who call ourselves witches and priests and healers and artists and musicians, oh my God, and musicians, creators of all kinds, knowing that we have the power to turn seemingly nothing into something in the real world that has an impact that lasts forever and ever and ever on the many. Yet we still deny the majesty of our own goddamn flesh. We still speak spells against our flesh. We do that. We still condemn the gift that was given to us by the Mother Earth, that was consecrated through the holy baptismal water and sacred blood of our earthly mother. Because we do not internalize through our conditioning that this body that we have is our conduit. We are the bridge between heaven and earth. Each one of us. We, walking around on 2 feet, are the personification of the marriage of heaven and earth. We are the perfect, beautiful personification of spirit and flesh, of heaven and earth. And it is our responsibility to teach each and every person on earth that power is ours, that the entire power of the entire universe belongs to each and every single one of us, at no one else's expense. This is what sovereignty is: to move in space harmoniously with all others, because we are one in her. Because we are one in her. She is responsible for all of us. And the only thing that she asks in return is the ecstatic expression of gratitude. That's it. That's the only thing that she asks of us. Nothing. Oh my God. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. So this is how this world has been able to thrive. Because if the mother only wants from us the ecstatic expression of gratitude, that is embodied gratitude, that is visible gratitude in the flesh, in the real world. If that's all she wants from us, for her to continue to give and give and give and give and give, then what does it say about the world that we live in now that denies us the opportunity for ecstatic expressions of gratitude to the mother? What does it mean? Listen, Baby, let me tell you something. There is no other way. You don't have to take my word for it. I am telling you, there is no other way to change the world than through a shock wave sent out into the world by those of us, those of you who say you want to see the world transformed. You have to speak it into existence with the energy of ecstatic goddamn gratitude. There is no other way. Because if you do not do that, if you are not involved in that, if you are not engaged, fully embodied, in that, then no one is going to believe what comes out of your mouth. If your flesh, if your body, if what you say is not mirrored by your behavior in the world. And the thing that we're talking about is not hard to do. I've been talking to you guys for a year about this Pluto returns that we're in, this leap forward into the age of Aquarius that we're squaring off with right this moment. How the entire galaxy that we are in has perfectly aligned to be our goddamn emissaries in the leap forward into this future that we say we want to create. Yet we are still on this goddamn planet lamenting and woeing and crying and writhing in misery. And the mother keeps saying all the time, all I want is ecstatic expressions of gratitude. This is what worship looks like, not submission, not on your belly, not on your face, not crying and rowing and begging, baby, dancing and fucking and doing all the things that makes you happy in the flesh. This is where epiphany is. This is where breakthrough is, baby. Those things that have been denied you, this is where ecstasy is. And when you are having an orgasm, my dear, this is the moment where I can come through. You understand? When you are dancing so hard that you don't care that your hair got messy and your makeup bled off and shit, and you kicked off your shoes in the club, this is where breakthrough is. This is where epiphany is. You understand? When you go outside and you hike, and then there's that moment where you're out of your head in the hike and you're in your body in the hike, and now you can hear shit that you couldn't hear. Or when you remove your headphones on the hike, honey, and you can actually hear God speak. You understand? This is the only way, man. This is the only way. I had this conversation with this young man yesterday, and I understood the spirit of where he was coming from. I did. Because, you know, I can default into a little political brain every now and again. I get it. But those of us who are doing the work, politically, spiritually, healing, you understand? I put my hands on people every day. You understand? Artists, musicians, honey, y'all are the world changers. Y'all are the ones that have a responsibility to execute the vision of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. What does it mean to emerge evolutionarily in the world that we are leaping into? Whether we are leaping into that world deliberately and consciously, or whether we are leaping into that world with fear and rejection and, you know, oh my God. We cannot fear the future. The future has always been kind to us. What do we have to fear in the future? Evolution has always been kind to us. What do we have to fear of evolution? Every breakthrough we had is always for the better, even if it was a struggle a little bit, even if it hurt a little bit, even if we got our knees knocked in a little bit. The other side was always better. What do we have to fear in the future? We can cannot keep speaking fear into the many. We can't. If you are a revolutionary, right on. But if you are a revolutionary and what you put out of your mouth is not affirmative, is not the vision of what your revolutionary movement is going certain to create in the future, keep your mouth closed and do the work. That's it. Just don't talk. Don't talk. There is enough despair in the world to last a millennia. Who is going to cast spells of certainty on the fucking world? Who is going to speak out of their mouth the conspiracy of a future unlike any that we have seen, that all of those on the ground suffering in one voice at one time spoke the conspiracy out into the world and made it real? Ha! This is our responsibility. This concept called a miasm or miasma. It's a concept that exists in homeopathy, right? And the concept, the concept is one that, in my estimation, has been bastardized like most things that were ancient goddess wisdom magic. The concept is that a miasma is a curse. It's called like a spiritual pollution. Oh my God. A spiritual pollution that, if allowed to continue to exist, will impact generation after generation after generation after generation. Now in homeopathy, it is the miasma that is responsible for all disease. Okay? This is the concept. That is spiritual pollution that is responsible for all disease. All disease. Okay? Then there's a concept called the mother's curse. Okay? It's married, there's a concept called the mother's curse that exists in most traditions. You can even read about the mother's curse in the Christian Bible. This acknowledgement that what comes out of the mouth of people in general, and women in particular, and even more in particular, those women who have created life, mothers, grandmothers, that what comes out of their mouth, what comes out of their mouth always impacts the material realm. And so the thing that you want, the whole idea behind the mother's curse is that if you want to prevent the mother's curse, which is always bad. The mother's curse is always bad. It's the one undoable spell. It's the one undoable thing, right? That if you want to prevent this, a good place to start is just treat women right. What a novel concept. That if you do not want the collective embodiment of the mothers of the earth to condemn the planet in their pain and in their woe and in their suffering, maybe just treating women well is a way to prevent the curse. Now, I hope y'all walk with me because I'm going on a walk. Excuse me while I adjust. So between the miasma, the spiritual pollution, between the mother's curse that exists in every tradition, the concept, right? Between what we call in African traditions the Ashe, the power of the universe spoken from the mouth. The strongest Ashe, according to African tradition, is that which comes from the mother's mouth, right? And every tradition has a version of it. So I'm thinking about all of these old historical stories about this thing that we breathe, listen, out of us every time we speak. And then I go to medical school. And I ended up becoming a medical student for traditional Chinese medicine. And they talk about, in Chinese medicine, the emperor, right? The heart is the emperor, okay? The heart. Now, this is Western brain and Eastern brain, so walk with me, okay? And we've just come to understand, in our Western mind, that the heart has as much, if not more, synaptic activity as the brain. And so, in essence, it is the heart and the experience of the heart that informs the brain in how to impact the rest of the body. That it is not the brain that leads the heart, but the heart that leads the brain. Okay? So, Chinese medicine says that the heart is the emperor. That everything that we experience of our surroundings is information taken into the heart. And then the heart discerns, if you will, what impact that information is going to have on the rest of the body. On the mind, on the spleen, on the kidneys, on the lungs, on the liver, who all have very wonderful and magnanimous jobs, and each has their own spirit, and each has a relationship to this information that is taken in by the emperor. Okay? That's one thing. The organ, the external organ of the heart, is said to have its roots in the heart and branches through the tongue. The tongue is the external organ of the heart. That's why the ancients said, the truth of the heart is spoken through the tongue. Both life and death resides in the tongue. You see, that you can speak death or life into existence, because the heart that governs the mind and speaks its truth from the mouth is spellcasting. You can call it what you want to. You can call it the miasma. You can call it the mother's curse. Right? You can call it what you want. You can call it conspiracy. That's what I said. The etymology of the word conspiracy, the meaning of the word conspiracy is to breathe together. To breathe together to ensure a certain outcome. That's what conspiracy means. Do you hear what I just said? Conspiracy means to breathe together in unison. You hear me? To ensure a certain outcome. The emperor, the heart, the truth of the heart, emanating out of the mouth, speaking into why do we have a problem believing this? Why do we have a problem believing in a miasma, a spiritual pollution spoken from the mouths of the injured, the hurt, the condemned, the subdued, the colonized, the broken, the battered? Why would we have a problem believing in the impact of a spiritual pollution, of a mother's curse, of a conspiracy that has created the world that we live in, when we don't have no problem believing that if I have an idea, an illumination in a moment, a synaptic connection in a moment that says, I'm going to create this thing, right? And then, but in order to create this thing, I have to speak this thing out loud to others who have the skills that I don't have to make this thing that started in my mind a material something in the world. How can you not believe in the impact of what you say out of your mouth having a permanent impact on others and their behavior when everything that you know to be real, everything you know to exist, everything that exists in the material world began as spirit, as an abstract idea, two synapses not yet The creation of despair so that every word that we speak out of our mouth is of suffering and of longing, of despair and pain and agony. That's what's happened. This is what's happened. And it's happened deliberately. And I don't want this to come across as like despairing, because that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that we have to use what we have to create the antithesis of what it is that exists right now. This is the starting point. It's the sin. If you're a scientist, if you're an atheist, if you are a communist or a socialist, if you are a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, it does not matter. We exist in the world together. We exist in this space together right now. And if we can relinquish, unbind our flesh from fucking dogma, so that our heart is light to speak the truth of its own desires out in the open, out in the world. Then we can only speak conspiracies of a future where we are all well, where we are all well in every way. We are well politically, we are well emotionally, we are well financially, economically. All of our needs are met just as the mother intended it. Just as she intended it. We all long for the memory that we have of it. We all have that memory, most of us. I will say most of us. Most of us have as our foundation in this incarnation the memory of that time from 0 to about 3 years old, where love was not only unconditional, it was given regularly. You was getting kissed up on about 35,000 times a day. Even strangers would walk up to your mom in the street and be like, oh my God, that baby's so cute. Just love from every direction. You feeling that in your little baby body all the time. And so all you have to do, even when you're crying, people coming to your assistance instantly to ease your suffering, to check in to see how they can turn your tears into that ecstatic laughter, that fully embodied expression of ecstatic gratitude that babies personify. You understand? And as we age, through our conditioning, as we age, we are taught through the retraction of that love that now we have to earn that love. That now we're no longer entitled to unconditional love and ongoing expressions of ecstasy and love and laughter and fun and all the things that make life on earth worth living. That now, those things are few and far between. That now you have to prove that you are worthy of those things. And we wonder why teenagers in the United States of America are said to be the most mentally ill, the most angry, and it is because they are skin-starved. They are touch-deprived. Their proximity to aging has fully retracted love from them. The touch, the embodied affection that they were guaranteed just for existing. But we can all have that. That's why we get, oh my God, that's why we get so caught up in the desperate search for, quote, the one. Oh my God. The fully embodied, desperate search for the all-elusive one, our twin flame, through whom we cannot experience that particular type of ecstasy with none other. It is a patriarchal lie imposed on all of us, men, women, and all the other genders in between. If we lived in a society where love was a guarantee for just being, we had to make no grand demonstrations of our right to love. It was just. Sovereignty cannot exist without that, man. Sovereignty cannot exist without radical love, baby. A love that says that because you are Jensen, you are entitled to safety, sovereignty, sanity, hope, certainty. You are allowed to be who you are on your own terms, even if that changes 1,000 times in your walk in life. I honor exactly who you are in the now as you say you are. That is all. That you, Annie, presenting as you do in this space, in this moment, in this time, is fully worthy of love. That's what sovereignty is. That's what sovereignty is. Because it's impossible to honor someone's sovereignty if you cannot love them the same way you love yourself. Now, if you don't love yourself, that's a whole other question. You understand? You cannot honor, and I'm trying to tell y'all, you cannot honor somebody's sovereignty if you cannot give it to them with the full expression of love that you have for yourself. Because there's nothing binding you to honoring who they are in space. You are not invested in their sovereignty if you can't love them. Let me tell you something. These ambiguous, hippie-ass expressions of one love and we're all one and I just love everybody and all of that shit, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. And that's not the future that I am trying to see. I am not trying to create peace on the plantation. We just all say it one time, we love each other. And that's just supposed to be okay. That's supposed to be it. In time, if I love you, I want exactly for you what I want for myself. That's the only way to honor your sovereignty. You see, I hope I'm being clear. Because to be in spaces that I have been in, where I assumed that I was safe in space, based on what people were saying out of their mouths. I assumed that I was safe in space, and then to be in those spaces with custodians of the traditions, or custodians of the magic, or custodians of the political ideology, or the custodians. These are elders, these are people who say this is what we want to do in the world, and to not be safe in space with them is because even as they chanting out loud, they want sovereignty for the whole, they want sovereignty for the whole group, I want sovereignty for me and my people, or me and my people over here. They would deny sovereignty to every individual inside the group to prop themselves up above the rest. That is not the world I'm trying to create. That is not the world I will participate in creating. Baby. We have to fully, internalize. Those of us that have been doing the work, you understand? We have to fully internalize that my peculiar walk in life, as Cassandra Faye Floyd, born to Jacqueline Jeanette Cook, as Stephen Ray Floyd, right? That my peculiar expression in this life as God on earth, because I was born of God, you see, does not isolate me from the rest. My incarnation is no more or no less powerful than anyone else around me. And this is what we have to take out to the world, baby. That even the person suffering right now, even the person who because their denial, their sovereignty being denied them, so they have to be out on the street, or they have to be in abusive relationships, or whatever, however the denial of sovereignty looks for any individual person, we have to break a crack in their spirit that allows them to understand in real time that they are the peculiar expression of God that is vital in this moment to changing the fucking world. Everybody on the planet, baby, I'm trying to tell you, that's what I are a beautiful, wonderful, magnificent expression of God in their incarnation that has a peculiar destiny to fill that is linked with the singular destiny of the whole planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, sovereignty is the key to creating the future. But sovereignty, coming from me, is not a singular freaking scientific political statement. It is a statement of the deep, deep, deep embodied love that I have for all of us. The certain, arrogant, audacious, bold, butt-naked confidence that I have that we can change the world today radically. Baby, oh my God. Thinking about the miasma being this spiritual pollution that has created the world that we exist in right now, and then imagining the counter to this spiritual pollution being the bold, radical, unbridled, chaotic spells of certainty, conspiracies spoken out loud of certainty that the world is ours, our mother is rallying behind us. Yes, baby, make this shit happen. Come on, y'all can do it. Y'all are born of my body. Y'all are baptized in blood and water. Y'all have all that you need, every bit of information, every lived experience of every last one of your ancestors, all the way back to the beginning of your line. All of those gems still alive and well and coursing through your veins, waiting for a light to explode in your heart and ignite that dormant DNA, baby. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When I talk to y'all and y'all think I'm weird or whatever, when I talk to y'all about how my big mama be kicking my ass in prayer, I ain't lying. My big mama been gone 26 years. I still know the sound of her voice, the way she sounded when she lived. And when I pray to my ancestors, baby, they'll either be nice, they'll like hug me and shit, or they'll be like, you know, you fucking up. Like, so what you gonna do? Like, you know, good and damn well, this would not be no shit I would be jocking for if I was sitting here in your house. So what you gonna do? You understand? That ain't weird. My big mama is still, she ain't out the fuck there somewhere. The way we treat our ancestors over the fuck there somewhere. She is alive in my goddamn blood right now. Marguerite Cook. You understand? She is alive in my blood right this minute. Ha! My grandfathers, alive in my blood right now. Those that I do not know their names, but I still would not exist had they not existed, are still alive in my blood right now. So when I talk about spirit said to me, when I talk about, you know, my ancestors said to me, when I talk, that's me. That's me. Spirit said, Cassandra said. Spirit said, Cassandra said. God damn it. My ancestors said, I said. This is what evolution is. I am the perfect embodiment of all of my ancestors in real time. All of their hopes, all of their dreams, all of their prayers, all the blood, sweat, and tears they shed to make sure that their line existed long enough for me to be perfectly positioned in a period in human history where we finally have the opportunity to once and for all end the age of oppression. We have that ability. Every last one of us alive, conscious, thinking human beings right now have this potential. I'm no different than the rest of you. I am no different than the rest of you. I am sitting here as one of the millions of us who have heeded the call. I am sitting here as one of the millions of us who said, okay, this shit gonna be a little bit rough, breaking ancestral curses and shit, you feel me? Doing my own self-work, showing up for my children in a way that teaches them that they do not have to carry the trauma of our past into the future. You understand? This shit gonna be rough a little bit. It's gonna hurt a little bit. And it has. Like, I got my ass handed to me in ceremony, many of that. Crying and carrying on. Oh, it's too hard. This is the work. This is what we signed up for. Whether we're conscious of that or not, this is what we signed up for. And it is a beautiful assignment that we have. It is the most incredible gift of time that we could have ever received to be here in this moment together, to accept the assignment, to at all costs and at all times be constantly evolving. Not of evolution and evolutionary emergence isn't a singular moment. It's a daily occurrence. It's a daily occurrence of the shedding away and then emerging, the shedding away and the emerging. It's the simultaneous thing. It's happening all the time. Us becoming better every day with every contact that we make with every human. Us being challenged every day by every contact that we make with every human. Whether it's, the person flipping the guy off on the side of the road that's going, oh, guilty about it. These are all evolutionary changes that we're involved in. All the time, every day. The emergence is when we can see that instant, that space in between all things, that moment where the thought has officially become a thing, real, maybe. That instant, that space in between, when a prayer has identifiably been answered in real time. That space in between, child, where the baby is still invisible and then his head pops out. That space. That's where we at. And we only have two choices in this space. That we are the divine radical in between. Oh my God. Listen, I'm gonna get a little astrological on y'all. You understand? Just for a second. When I talk about the space between this divine timing, excuse me, this divine timing, we have rounded out the end of the great year. That's it, we end it right now. The end, the absolute epic end of the great year, which is 25,000 years. At the same time that we're ending the great year, moving from a water sign, Pisces, to the air sign, Aquarius, yeah? At the same time, Pluto, the goddess for Yah in Janssen, has taken up her throne right here in the United States. Like, bitch, y'all better get ready. Because I'm dismantling all this shit. This is it. And get comfortable with being uncomfortable for a period. Because every condition, every belief, every ideology that you have accepted in your flesh and in your blood and in your cells, baby, I'm about to uproot all that shit. I'm about to show you some shit miraculous out this bitch right now. That's what I'm about to do. And we still fully in on Yah's reign on the United States, you see. That is not she ain't transitioning out of Capricorn fully until November 19, 2024. But baby, y'all better get ready because she's making her first transition into Aquarius next month. Next month. Not only that, we are also rounding out the end of this age, Piscean age. The age of Jesus as the S-U-N, right? So the great year is coming to an end, right? The Piscean age is coming to an end at the same time. Pluto's return, where she was 248 years ago, right now, right? And we haven't been in an air sign in terms of the ages, in terms of our 2150-year transition through each age. We haven't been in an air sign in 8,000 years. All of that is happening right now. These monumental, permanently transformative We have to speak spells of certainty into the world, baby. We have to cast a spell of radical imagination on the whole planet. We have to ease anytime we can the suffering of others so that they can see the conspiracy of the new world unfold in real time. You understand what I'm saying? The breathing together to ensure a certain outcome. A certain outcome. A guaranteed outcome. This is what conspiracy means. To breathe together out loud. To ensure a certain result. What does conspiracy of the world changers look like? What does the conspiracy of the light bearers look like? What does the conspiracy of those who embrace the dark look like, knowing that the dark is our mother, baby? Even as we welcome the light, we embrace the dark. We embrace the dark because that is she, you see. That is she. In all the manifestations of dark, that is she, you see. Those things unseen, those things below the surface of the belly of the earth, those things hidden deep in the body of the primordial water, baby. That is she. That's her. Right? What is the conspiracy of those of us who embrace the left-hand path, baby, and know that it is she that resides on the left, that governs the left, the flesh, you see. What is the conspiracy that we will speak into the world to ensure a certain outcome? Y'all, come on, I wish I could get a hallelujah in here or something. Yo, what is the conspiracy that we have a responsibility to speak into the air, into the atmosphere, cast into the universe to ensure a certain result that is for our benefit at the expense of none others? Do you understand what I just said? That I want to be fully embodied and sovereign in this flesh that God has given me, and I want all that I want for myself without imposing on the peculiar destiny of some other. That's what sovereignty is. Nation sovereignty, state sovereignty, tribal sovereignty cannot exist without it. Now you heard it here. If you are demanding tribal sovereignty, nationalist sovereignty, state sovereignty, yet the women of your community are suffering, half the population of your community are suffering at your hands, it cannot happen. I'm just trying to tell you for your political activists out here. You really want to set this shit off? You really want to make sure that the state as we know it can no longer oppress, condemn, exploit the many? You understand? Treat the women in your organizations with the reverence that they goddamn well deserve. Treat the children in your organization as the fully embodied spiritual personifications of our ancestors' return in full time, in real time. Stop treating children in these organizations like appendages to the movement. Stop treating women like the goddamn grunt work bearers of the goddamn organization. You ain't trying to destroy this shit. You are not trying to dismantle this goddamn quagmire we all in. If you cannot start within the space that you govern, where you deny sovereignty to anyone, your wife, your children, those that work under your leadership, you have no intention of making a contest with the state. And that's my political left brain shit. I don't believe you. And I've moved in too many political spaces with too many political organizations, too many veteran organizations that have been doing this work for 50 years, yet we still in the same shit we in. We ain't made no headway. So some of y'all might have to start doing some real serious introspection about what it is you say you believe, and does everybody inside your organization? Do you grant? Do you respect? Do you honor? Do you love the sovereignty of every single entity that exists in space with you? And then y'all move from there. But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear another so-called goddamn revolutionary talk about sovereignty if you are denying sovereignty to others. I do not want to hear another spiritual leader. I do not give a damn how long you've been doing this work. You do not get no credit from me. And you should not get no credit from no other person. I do not care if your actions, if what you say out your mouth is not always indicative in your behavior and actions in the world, in your relationships with others around you. You feel like you can do some shit behind closed doors because don't nobody see? Listen, y'all have been staying humanity's progress, by the way. You so-called revolutionaries, you so-called world changers and shit, functioning in real time as the fucking agents of patriarchy, because that's what you're doing. You functioning as agents of patriarchy. You are prolonging the suffering of the many, is what you're doing. Women, you have a responsibility to no longer be silent. You have a responsibility to out these criminals that hide and linger and lay up in so-called sacred space and deny others sovereignty. We can no longer keep the secrets of the agents of fucking patriarchy. No matter how humiliating we may think it is. I've been there. I've been humiliated by a husband that I believed was my partner for life to change the world with, the great revolutionary and shit. While he was a diabolical creature behind closed doors, and we always trying to save space in public. You understand? We cannot do that shit. We prolong the suffering of the many when we hide the secrets of tyrants, of agents, of goddamn patriarchy. You feel me? So, that's the charge to everyone. Men, oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, men. Women have a responsibility to speak out. Women not only have a responsibility to speak out, women have a goddamn responsibility to be their most obnoxious, arrogant, loud, bodacious, in your face, repugnant, if you will, preachers of the fucking new world. That's our responsibility. Later for the quiet, later for the contortionism, later for the making ourselves small in space shit. Be your most audacious self when championing for the future of the world, okay? Men, you have a responsibility to not be complicit. Your complicity in the crimes against the many is a weapon that patriarchy has always relied on. Your complicity in the suffering of others to save face or to save your own little particular piece or version of masculinity is a poisoned blade that has been used often by patriarchy against you. Against you. Here you are, fucked up in the brain because of your isolation. You are. Men suffer from isolation, from separation, from this thing that has been fully embodied in women that we have to question every male person that we come into contact with about whether or not I'm taking space with this person. That shit has to do something to you too. Where every woman that you ever meet questions your intention by virtue of you having been born of the mother. Baby, that's a terrible place to be. It's a terribly lonely existence to have imposed on you by patriarchy. To be completely severed from your beautiful, intimate, fully embodied, loving relationship with all women because you honor sovereignty. Because you love us. Because because you love the mother. This bullshit y'all be talking about, I love women, I don't know what you're talking about. We ain't talking about that. We are not talking about your malignant, patriarchal, misogynistic desire and lust. That's not what we're talking about. We're again talking about sovereignty, being the cure, at least the key. I won't say the cure, because the cure is the mother. Baby, you gotta go back to the mother. To cure everything that's wrong with the planet, we have to go back to the mother. That's it. That's the simple solution. We have to go back to the mother. But the key to being open-hearted enough to receive that is sovereignty. Can we just honor one another in the now, in space? Can I guarantee that in this space that we are in for these 2 hours, we are fully safe? And what I mean by safe is that we are unjudged. We are free from judgment in this space. We are free from our past in this space. We are living perfectly in the now, right now, in this space. And when we leave this space, this is what we will carry with us. Honoring people's sovereignty no matter where they are in their walk in this life. Not tolerating, oh, listen to what I'm telling you, not narratives of tolerance later for that shit. Not narratives of inclusion later for that shit. Not a submission to labels that we can't move in and out of if we see fit. Later for that shit, I'm saying in the perfect now, in the perfect moment, can you honor in space that you share with any others their full right to their peculiar expression as God on earth? Can you honor that? That's how we create safety. That's how we create safety. That's how we create sovereignty. Not more fucking police on the street. Not more guns and military. Not more top-down bureaucratic ass leadership and shit. That's not it. I'm sorry. That's not it. Not public policy. That's not it. That's not it. Can we honor people's sovereignty? Now that shit will get a little bit more particular and, as specific as we move on, because if we talk about sovereignty, we have to be talking about these 2,735 goddamn billionaires that live on the planet that are active participants in the denial of sovereignty to the many. We're going to talk about that. We are going to have to talk about that. That 2,735 people on the planet Earth control 3/4 of the fucking material wealth on the planet. And that being an act of aggression against the sovereignty of the inhabitants of this planet. That's what it is. We all have to talk about that. Like I said, I ain't in here also blissed out in the middle of the universe, space cadet style spirituality. That ain't what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about spirituality as an embodied experience. As an embodied experience. Our ability to become enlightened spiritually being directly tied to our physical experience of our environment around us. That's from the Great Cosmic Mother, by the way. I ain't come up with that on my own. You understand? That the flesh and the spirit are one, baby. And that whatever, let me just go ahead and read this little quote, because it's just so magnanimous in carrying on. And it came, let's see. Here it is. Probably in my little books. Nope, here it is. Here it is. Listen. The notion that the mind and spirit, this is for those of you who are watching, this is the current Bible. We got many here, you understand, of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, right? The Great Cosmic Mother, rediscovering the religion of the earth, from chapter 51 called The Magic Flight Home, right? The notion that the mind and spirit can be abstracted from the body is a patriarchal lie. A continuance of this lie is the notion that we can indulge in spirituality that is above politics, that somehow floats above the agony of this present earth like a little blissed out cloud. The spirit is within a body. It is the conscious experience of process within that body. And the spirit evolves or is obstructed in its evolution depending on the body's experience of its material environment. God damn it. It is a patriarchal lie to convince the masses of the people of the world that suffering is your requirement, is the requirement for your spiritual ascension. I'm gonna tell you some shit that you ain't gonna like. You understand? I have learned from them all, but I took what was useful from these dogmas and I left the rest in the goddamn garbage. Any tradition, I don't give a damn how old it is, how ancient it is, how long it's been around. I don't care. Any tradition, any religion, any organization, any philosophy, any dogma, any medical system that teaches you that as a requirement for enlightenment, for a heightened understanding of spiritual self, requires the suffering of the flesh, is a lie meant to transform God into a servant or a slave. That is all. It is to make you, God, pliable for the exploitation of your essence. All that radical potential that I talked about in the beginning, to create anything, all the creative potential of the entire universe embodied in your fleshly experience, us as a conduit through which magic and fucking miracles are demonstrated all the time in the world. Miracles are demonstrated through human beings, baby, through flesh, spirit, using flesh, not as some vehicle to get the fuck around in this existence until we check the fuck out. That ain't it. The jail that our poor spirit is victimized in until we leave this plane to go to the great by and by, later for that. Our flesh is the magical conduit through which spirit executes miracles and magic in the material realm, in the material world. So when she says here, the spirit is within a body, it is the conscious experience of process within that body. And the spirit evolves or is obstructed in its evolution. Has our evolution been obstructed? By the woe, all this dogma created to accept that our lot in life is suffering. You gotta work hard for 40 years. You gotta be diligent. You gotta persevere. What? Madness. Madness it is. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You know, work hard to earn and to deserve that which Mother Earth inherently gives us for free. You feel me? What Mother Earth inherently gives us for free, food, clothes, shelter, now, in the obstruction of our evolution, we are made and convinced that it is through the suffering and the shedding of blood, sweat, and tears that we have to earn food, that we have to earn life, that we have to earn love, that we have to earn safety, further and further isolating ourselves from the one. And that one not only being the earth, that one not only being the great cosmic universe, that one being each and every one of us separated from each other. We are the one, separated from each other, dichotomized from each other to make us ripe for exploitation. You see, bang. It is the spirit within the body. It is the conscious experience of the process within that body. And the spirit evolves. This body, all I'll talk about, don't get no good clear explanation about what body is. Shabbat. Stop talking above people's heads. Make it plain. Make the language of the future plain, baby. Make the message of love plain for antagonistically. It is the reunification consciousness that is going to unfold on the very real material planet Earth. Not somewhere out there fucking somewhere. We always looking to escape when the answer for everything that we need is right here in the body of Mother Earth. Right here in the flesh of Mother Earth. Right here in the spirit of Mother Earth. And every voice that you hear of longing, of, baby, I'm right here. Baby, I'm right. You know what you gotta do. Yes, that's you. Yes, that's your ancestors. But all of us are embodied in the spirit of the Mother, you see. We are all the products of the Mother Earth. Of the spirit of the Mother Earth, of the longing of the Mother Earth. Baby. It is patriarchy that devalues and disconnects the body from the spirit in order to make the body's energy accessible for exploitation. A feminist spirituality must begin with the fact of being alive is a biological body, as a biological body, on a living, conscious, biological planet. This is the human ontological condition. This is the condition of all human evolution and all creative human activity. Those who embrace spirituality as some kind of escape from politics, as some kind of transcendence of political exigencies, simply do not understand what feminist spirituality means at its roots. The joining of the conscious body and the conscious spirit in the ongoing epiphany of experienced evolution. What is experienced evolution? Evolution ain't just something that happens up in here. It is full body, full experience in our relationships with this process that we are all engaged in together. That's what it is. Whatever, listen to me right now, I'll close with this. Can somebody give me a time check?
107.
Oh, perfect. So I'm going to end with this. Quote by Barbara Moore from The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. Whatever represses or deforms the body's experience, whatever represses or deforms the body's experience of itself also represses and deforms the spirit's self-experience. Do you understand? Even with all the growing that we're doing, all the spiritual work that we are doing, we have to address the flesh with the same reverence, with the same countenance, with the same urgency, with the same certainty. We have to revere the flesh as much as we do the spirit. And in the reverence of the flesh requires us to change the very material conditions of the whole planet. This is what it means. This is what it means. Do you understand? So, there was so much more I wanted to cover, but I went in on work. You understand? I want to, y'all have any questions, any input, any impact? Now, because of the technical difficulties on the front end, I'm not in a position, right, to take questions from the live feed that we're doing, but we have people in the space. Y'all have any comments, any questions about today? Any input? Any comment? And I want everybody to give an invisible hand, an invisible shout out again to Jensen for the incredible, wonderful, so on time. Oh my God, it was so on time. Woo! It was so on time. It was so necessary. Sound bath, meditation, medicine that she offered at the beginning today. So on time. Thank you so much. Okay, so I have some little announcements that I want to make, and then we're going to wrap it up. I can't believe I'm almost on time. We went in. I have some announcements to make. For example, I need a local logistical committee. I need a local logistical committee. So far, with these services out to work and we have to do this road style live casting of the service today. But if I had a local logistical committee that can do this kind of troubleshooting for me, you know, so that I'm not taken off my square. Like I try to spend the mornings like in meditation, like in a deliberate vibe before opening my mouth in this space. I try to be deliberate about allowing myself to be a conduit through which spirit and my ancestors can say what they have to say. It becomes difficult when I have to do all the setup and do all the breakdown and try to troubleshoot why the internet was not working today. It gets me off my square. That's why I'm more grateful than Jensen realizes for like the ceremony bringing me back into my body. I was kind of all over the place. But a logistical committee, you know, that would help with like outreach, that would help with like the promos and stuff like that. Because I'm still doing a lot of ideological work for the temple. I am still doing a lot of laborious, petty paperwork for the state, for the temple. So it's just taking up a lot of very valuable brain space that I need to delegate to others. So if you are interested, one, in becoming a member of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, right now the website is being built. It's in process. So in the meantime, I'm still doing everything through my points of contact. So if you are interested in membership in the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, you can email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with me on my various social media. On Facebook, I'm Cassandra Faye Floyd. On YouTube, I am Daughter of the Fates. You can look it up either way, Cassandra Faye Floyd or Daughter of the Fates. Twitter is Daughter of the Fates. Instagram is Release Heart Center and Daughter of the Fates. And that's pretty much it. And then releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. So that's the one announcement. I need people to volunteer and to become members of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Do not fret that whatever your spiritual beliefs are, I am not attempting to make a contest with them. Everybody is welcome into this space. Everybody has a place to play in the future. Everybody has a role to play in the conscious evolving of the future. And so I am calling on everyone. Artists, that's the other announcement. I'm calling on everyone. So become a member of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. We have services, gatherings. I hate the word services. We have gatherings every first and third Saturday of every month. Also, artists, musicians, healers have a very special place, play a very significant role in the temple. If you are a painter, if you are so I want to shout out the painter of this painting here, Oshun Ojibok. She wasn't, I think she's still in Texas. So in Texas, of the goddess Oya. So if you're an artist, we would like to feature each week different print artists, painters, whatever. We would also like to feature different performing artists, whether you're a healing performing artist, or a vocalist, or a poet, or what have you. We would like to welcome into the space different artists. And then also, I'm going to start doing a marketplace for 3 vendors each service. So if you have wares that you would like, especially spiritual wares, not exclusively, but especially spiritual wares, that you would like to set up a small table in the space and I want to start doing that. But I need a logistical committee. Ideally, I would have about 6 people. That would be my ambition for the short term. 6 people who would volunteer to be on the logistical committee so that I could start disseminating, delegating some of these tasks that are all very simple tasks, but when they become the task of just one, it can be a little overwhelming. So that. And that's it. So if you are interested in performing, if you are interested in having your art displayed, if you are interested in helping in any other way, logistically or otherwise, if somebody wants to help me with my social media, that would be wonderful. then reach out to me at 813-843-4717 or releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. I want to thank everybody for participating in this most renegade way, and thank everybody for their patience. Thank those who joined me in the space. It always adds something. I'm always very grateful for it. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you again. Push log out.
I don't even know how to use that phone. Is it the X?
Yeah,
Okay.
just the X.
I tried. You try it?
Just thank you. And somebody says beautiful sound.
Yep.
Okay.
And what
Are you
does it
sure
say?
you want to stop streaming?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.